Warzone 2.0 at launch.
That's Tarkov, come on!
That definitely looks like Tarkov's logo. Alright, let's see what the trailer has for us. Okay, we got diving. Is that a juggernaut? Ugh. Wait, what's that about extraction? It just said locate a prisoner moving into extraction, so potentially that doesn't sound like Warzone or multiplayer. That must be DMC. Hostage secures in DMC?
Enemies above. Drill charge.
That's kind of cool.
You're gonna be okay.
Hostage secure.
So it's one of two. Either they're making a mode that's going to compete with Rainbow Six Siege, or that has to be in DMC. I'm not sure. Because a lot of this is giving me Siege vibes. Oh, hold on. Go back. That's kind of cool. That's actually kind of cool. Okay. Here's the part where they talk about DMC.
Okay, so we've all heard the rumors that Warzone 2.0 is going to have some very, very interesting new modes. Would you care to confirm or deny Stephanie Snowden?
It's finally time. I have read about some new modes on the internet recently, but one of the most exciting things about Warzone 2.0 is confirmation that an all-new sandbox experience is coming at launch. I am happy
Sandbox, what does that mean?
to announce DMZ. Call of Duty's extraction mode will arrive with Warzone 2.0 at launch later this year. I played DMZ for the very first
Yeah, low-key, it does look like the fucking Tarkov logo. It does really look like the fucking Tarkov logo, dude.
time on my first day at IW, and to this day, playing it non-stop, the possibilities with this game mode blow my mind.
So DMZ. I can also confirm that DMZ is real. But we're not going to go into depth on it today because we do have to keep some stuff in reserve.
In reserve for what? This was like the big freaking press conference for the game, right? Like, the fact that they're keeping stuff like reserve makes me think that it's not what everybody thinks it is. This is exactly what Battlefield did, by the way. Just a reminder.
What I can tell you, though, is we've created a rich sandbox where you can define your own win condition. You infiltrate Al Mazrah, you accomplish your goals, and then you decide to extract when the time is right. It is played across the whole map, and the AI is occupying large sections.
Single
of the
map?
And they are lethal opponents, and they do command your respect. You have to watch out for them. You have to work with your team. They patrol areas, they occupy strongholds, and they'll reinforce based on players' actions. And then on top of all this, you can choose which mission you want to accomplish, or you can chase after a variety of activities in the world. And you can play this different.
Choose which mission you want to accomplish. That doesn't sound like tasks. That sounds like there's going to be multiple things in-game that you can do. Which brings me back to what I saw earlier. I think that hostage rescue thing might be in DMC. I don't know how I feel about that.
Differently depending on your playstyle. You can go loud, like I always do. You can go quiet, or you can hunt other players or avoid them entirely. Or you could just decide, hey, I'm going to explore the secrets of Al Mazrah and see what's there.
You can rat or you can Chad.
Loot up, exfil, it's totally up to player choice there, and I'm really excited about the full scale of what we're delivering for this chapter, and we want players to have an amazing experience in Warzone 2.0.
Yeah, and I would love if you gave us a little bit more info than just a 1-minute snippet of you saying absolutely nothing. Okay, so let's talk about DMC for a little bit, shall we? First things first, the claim that it's a sandbox game, it kind of confused me a little bit, so I looked it up. Sandbox game is a game that is not constrained to achieving specific goals and has a large degree of freedom to explore, interact, or modify the game environment. So I guess what it means is that there's not a specific objective, which could be a big difference from Battlefield attempt at this, because Battlefield was just get the drives and get out. This one looks like they're going to have some sort of freedom to it. We're not really sure because they didn't really give us any info on this, but yeah, that's potentially a plus for the game. They did mention missions. They didn't say what they were, but I suspect it could have something to do with that hostage rescue footage that we saw. So maybe you have the alternative that you can either go get a hostage and rescue them, or go infiltrate a big building that's got secured gear inside of it or something. I don't know. They did talk about formidable enemies, and we did see a Juggernaut in the trailer, so I'm really hoping that doesn't mean that there's going to be Juggernauts you got to take out. That could be more annoying than it is realistic, because it's not that the AI is dangerous because it's good or it can aim really quick. It's going to be dangerous because it's a bullet sponge. Alternatively, it could mean that they're doing some sort of Rainbow Six type of mode, which actually could be really cool. I would love to see COD's take on that type of mode, but I don't know. Haven't heard anything about that yet. Okay, so let's get into some pros and cons here. All right, pro number one. It's a AAA company. It's attempting to make an extraction first-person shooter. I really do think that if anybody can push the envelope on extraction shooters, it will be the big AAA companies. I don't think they're incentivized to do so because I think it alienates a lot of their potential market, but they're making an attempt. Will it be better than Battlefield's attempt? We'll see. Second, there's a lot of cool movement mechanics that are being added to this game that could translate to fun interactions like diving and whatever that guy did where he was hanging off a ledge. This could translate to really cool moments. Just depends on how they implement them, I guess. And lastly, and this is something that I do criticize a little bit about Tarkov, is that it has potentially a lot more game-based decisions versus realism. For example, a pinging system, a mini-map, all these things are more for the gameplay experience and not necessarily for the realistic side of the game. On the con side, that takes us to our first con, it's probably not going to be as realistic of a game as Escape from Tarkov. That's simply a reality. I mean, it's probably going to be the same sort of stuff that we're used to in Call of Duty, except it's going to be some sort of a big world that you can go into, which, by the way, another con that I would mention is only one map. I don't know how I feel about that, especially for an extraction game. I think it's going to get very repetitive very quickly. Another con that I have to discuss is I'm getting very strong Battlefield 2042 vibes in the sense that they're not giving us info, and the game's supposed to come in a month from now. Why have we not heard more? Why are we not seeing gameplay of this mode? If they truly believe in this mode, I feel like they would put a spotlight on it already. This was their big moment to make a splash, and we had nothing. We had a 1-minute moment where they mentioned it, and that was it. So I think that's a very big red flag. I don't know why they're not mentioning more. And lastly, in terms of the con, but it kind of goes along with the side of it being less realistic, if it's a Call of Duty game, it's gonna by far be way more casual, which is gonna be appealing to a certain audience, but I don't think the Tarkov audience is gonna love the casual aspect of this game. Those are the pros and cons. Now let's get to some questions that I have that could potentially ruin the experience for me. First of all, and this is gonna be the biggest deal breaker for me, is there going to be rebuys? If you can buy a teammate back and they respawn, it's gonna automatically lose a lot of the potential risk, and by default, it's gonna be extremely casual. That's gonna be a huge turnoff for me and probably most Tarkov players. Second, what type of loot are we looking for? Is it gonna be like Tarkov where you're actually grabbing cans of peas and stuff like that and you can sell it? Or is it gonna be just gear-based items, attachments, stuff like that? I don't know. On that topic, we also have to wonder, what's the inventory gonna look like? What's the healing mechanics gonna be? Is there gonna be different types of armor? Are they gonna tier up in exchange? Is it just gonna be plates in Warzone and a stim for your health and that's it? How deep are they gonna go into this versus how casual and close to Warzone is it gonna stay? Now, clearly, I do not expect a robust healing system like Tarkov's. I more expect that it's gonna be maybe armor sort of like Apex, where they go from white to green to blue to gold and whatnot. That's kind of what I expect, which would be a step up from Warzone, but I don't know how interesting it would be eventually. One thing that could be a huge turnoff for me for sure would be if there's vehicles in the game mode. I cannot imagine it being as immersive and as hardcore if there's a guy running around in a helicopter with another guy who's just sniping off the helicopter the whole time. And also, and I just thought about this could be the worst part of it, is if it's locked into a playlist. Let me explain what I mean. Okay, so Call of Duty players recognize tweets like this from Raven Software, and it's that daily, they will do playlists where it's oh, if you want to play this map, you can only do it in quads for this week or whatever. For example, a friend of mine right here, Processing, celebrating Resurgence is back. the fact that it switches like this, like if this game was like, oh, you get DMCs, but it's trios only this week, that's going to be very bad. And let me justify why I say that. One of the very interesting sides of Tarkov is that when you find another player and you kill them, you don't know if he has a friend, you don't know if he's got a full team. You gotta search the whole area, clear it all up, and then you can go for the body. If you're queuing into a duos playlist, you already know it's 2 guys. If you're looting into a squad and you kill 2 people, you know, hey, they probably have 2 more friends somewhere around. Especially, by the way, if you get a little notification it's got the squad wipe, that all of this could lead to it being less immersive and feeling more like an extension to Warzone than anything else. And the last part that I'm actually very concerned about is time to kill. Notoriously in Warzone, time to kill is extremely fast. If time to kill feels like that in this game, I don't know how invested you're going to be in whether your character lives or not. I don't know. I feel like in order for this to succeed, it's going to need to have a slower time to kill. That's just my thinking. So, in conclusion, what is my expectation? I think it'll be a very successful mode. Regardless of everything that I said, for a very casual audience that comes from Warzone, it might scratch that itch, it might get them interested. Hell, they might even want to play Tarkov after playing this mode. However, I really don't think this is going to steal a Tarkov player base. The reason why I say this is because Tarkov is a very hardcore mode, and most of Tarkov's core audience loves it for it. So I really don't think that a very casual game is going to steal those type of players. That's just me being honest. But anyways, what's important is, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below if you're interested, if you're hyped, if you think it's gonna flop, if you think they're gonna fail. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. And by the way, if you enjoyed this, make sure to like the video. And for more Tarkov content, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Until next time, peace out.
It's so good.